Hi everyone, welcome back to lesson 4 of the social media marketing module, the first half of which is going to be on LinkedIn marketing. The agenda for today's lesson is going to be everything about LinkedIn marketing, all you need to know in order to use LinkedIn marketing effectively for your business. We'll start with an introduction to LinkedIn, understand the nature and the characteristic of the platform, then move on to personal branding, how to use LinkedIn to build a personal brand, then how to use LinkedIn for brand marketing. We'll also look at LinkedIn ads and analytics. Right, so let's get started with the lesson. We'll begin with an introduction to the platform. As we've already seen in all the lessons we've done so far, in order to market effectively on the platform, we first need to understand the nature of the platform and the characteristics of its audience. Why is the audience that is there on the platform there in the first place? So let's look at the platform and understand a little more about it. So LinkedIn has both male and female users. There is not much of a gender bias here, as you can see. It's more or less equal. And in terms of the age group of the LinkedIn audience, it is quite wide across different age brackets. In fact, there is a large number of LinkedIn users who are also 65 plus. So it is a fairly mature platform. Right, it has a comparatively older and mature audience. It is also a purely professional network, which sets it apart from most other social networks out there as compared to, let's say, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Most of them are personal. LinkedIn is a completely professional network. When it comes to business users, LinkedIn is a very effective lead generation channel, especially for B2B companies. So those of you who are into B2B, you can find LinkedIn to be a very effective lead generation channel for you. LinkedIn also helps drive thought leadership in your industry, build expertise and authority for you in the minds of your target audience. It also helps in recruitment in a fairly large way, where you can recruit potential employees. So now that we've understood a little bit about the platform, let's understand the characteristics of its audience. And I'm going to let you guys do this first. I'm going to ask you guys a question, which I want you to pause the video and think through. So those of you who are active LinkedIn users, some of you might not be very active, but those of you who are active on LinkedIn, those of you who check your LinkedIn often, probably once a day. So those of you who are active on LinkedIn, I want you guys to think through what are all the activities that you do on LinkedIn as an active user, not as a marketer. As an active user on LinkedIn, what are all the activities you perform? Right, so pause the video, think through this, note down all the activities you perform, and then come back. Great guys, so hope you've put down your activities that you do as a LinkedIn user on LinkedIn. Let's take a look at what most active users do, the key things that LinkedIn's audience does on LinkedIn. So the first thing is grow their network, connect with other professionals. Next is stay updated with the latest trends and insights from industry leaders, right? Stay up to date with what's happening in your industry. And third is look for jobs, right? Advance in your careers, look for better opportunities. These are the top 3 things which most active users do on LinkedIn. Right? So it's a very effective platform for networking, recruitment, as well as for staying up to date with industry insights. As we move further into the lesson, we're going to be looking at each of these in a lot more detail. Just to give you an idea of the effectiveness, you can see some statistics here. The one on the left that says nearly 45% of people have increased their face-to-face networking effectiveness after connecting on LinkedIn. So those of you who attend networking events, you will know that if you have some prior information about a person, it's always easier to break the ice, always easier to connect to them. So if you connected to someone on LinkedIn and then you go and meet them in person, it makes it much easier for you to strike a conversation and your networking becomes much more effective. So LinkedIn helps you in your offline networking as well. The statistic on the right here is 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to examine potential candidates. So LinkedIn is the first place where a recruiter will look you up. If you apply for a job, if you're looking for a better opportunity, the first thing that a recruiter will do is look you up on LinkedIn, take a look at your profile, right? That's how important your LinkedIn profile is and your personal brand on LinkedIn is. So as we go further, we're going to look at how you build a strong personal brand on LinkedIn and also how do you build an attractive LinkedIn profile that stands out from the crowd. Alright, so another thing that you should know, which is an important thing about the platform, is that a lot of people think that LinkedIn is a platform just for job search and recruitment. Well, it is much more than that. LinkedIn is much more than just job searches, recruitment, and much more than just connections as well. LinkedIn is a great platform for content, a great platform for, like we discussed, staying up to date with industry insights and updates, right? There is a lot more content, probably 10 times more content on LinkedIn than jobs. So we're also going to look at how do we use LinkedIn as a platform for both driving thought leadership through content as well as staying up to date with the latest happenings in our industry and industry insights. So let's begin now that we've understood the nature of the platform and the characteristic of the audience. Now we know the primary reasons why the LinkedIn audience is there on LinkedIn. So let's look at how we can, as brands, market effectively on LinkedIn. How do we use LinkedIn effectively as a marketing tool? Right, so LinkedIn for marketing has two key components to it. One is marketing as a brand, where you build awareness and visibility for your brand through your company assets on LinkedIn, right? Through your company page, for example. And the other is personal branding, where you build a strong personal brand for yourself. Both of these are equally important, and we're going to look at each one of them one after the other. We'll begin with personal branding on LinkedIn. Before we go into personal branding, we need to understand why is personal branding so important. And I'm sure most of you will agree with me when I say personal branding on LinkedIn is very important. What makes it so important, especially from a marketing perspective, is that each one of us on LinkedIn are in a way representatives of the organization we work with, of the company we work for. Apart from that, especially those of us who are in senior positions, those of us who are in sales, when you reach out to anyone on LinkedIn on behalf of your company, your personal brand is what is going to play a major role in how things pan out. So as I said, personal branding is key to success on LinkedIn for all LinkedIn users, and especially if you are using LinkedIn for marketing, personal branding is key, because as you can see here, it has three major benefits. Personal branding gives you credibility. Even when you're reaching out on behalf of your company, it gives you as a person credibility as well, and that way it also builds credibility for the organization you work for. It helps drive referrals. When people know you and you build a strong personal brand, it drives referrals and more business through referrals, through word of mouth on LinkedIn. And it attracts new business contacts as well. A strong personal brand where you showcase your expertise in a particular domain, in a particular industry, automatically attracts new business to you. Alright, so let's look at how do we build a personal brand on LinkedIn. Success in personal branding on LinkedIn begins with building a powerful LinkedIn profile. When somebody looks you up on LinkedIn, the first thing that they're going to see is your profile. And having a perfect LinkedIn profile is the best way to get noticed and build a successful personal brand. So let's look at how do we build a powerful LinkedIn profile. The first thing on your LinkedIn profile that people would see is your picture, and it's very important to have a good professional picture there, right? Those of you who don't have a picture yet, this is the first thing you should do. Take a good professional headshot and ensure it is on your profile. Those of you who don't have a photo are losing out on a lot of potential profile views. In fact, this statistic from LinkedIn says that you are 14 times more likely to be viewed if you have a profile photo. So those of you who don't have it yet, you can do it right now as well. If you want to do it right now, you can pause the video, go to your LinkedIn profile and add a good professional headshot of yourself. Next is your headline. So write an attention grabbing headline, something that's different, something that stands out from the crowd, something that explains what you do, shows your passion and the value that you can add to potential business prospects or to potential companies where you would like to work. So this is important. After your picture, ensure that you have a strong attention grabbing headline. Once you're done with getting a custom URL for yourself, it is important to ensure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized for LinkedIn search. So anyone looking for a role that you can fit into or for a potential business service that you could provide must find you. How do you do this? Is by ensuring that whenever you write descriptions for different sections of your LinkedIn profile, you try and include relevant keywords that are relevant to your industry, your role, your job into these descriptions, and that enhances the chances of you being found when people are searching for you. It is also important to draft a compelling summary for your LinkedIn profiles. So this is the summary section, which is one of the topmost sections on your profile on LinkedIn. And when you write this section, it is important to write a good enough summary that is ideally over 40 words, not too long, not too short as well, but keep it crisp, to the point, include keywords that are relevant. You could also focus on your key career accomplishments that you would want to showcase in this section, because this is probably the first section that someone who looks up your profile would see. Right, so this section needs to be compelling, needs to be strong, needs to drive home all your key skills and career accomplishments. Next is always detail all your past work experience. Do not leave out any work experience. Sometimes it might not be too relevant to the current role you're applying for, but it's always good to have these sections complete on your profile. Right, this helps you being found as well. As you can see here, when you have more than one position listed on LinkedIn, LinkedIn statistics say that you are nearly 20 times more likely to be found. Your profile is more likely to be viewed if you have more than one position listed. So wherever you have experience, places that you worked, always ensure that they are listed on your LinkedIn profile. Next is the importance of adding visual elements, adding images, videos, slide shares wherever you can. Most LinkedIn profiles tend to be text only, and if you can add visual elements to it, your profile stands out from the crowd. So in each of your sections, wherever possible, try and add relevant images, videos that you might have, slide shares that you might have created, probably recordings of webinars you might have conducted. Whatever you have, you can add them here As I said, visual elements make your profile stand out apart from having just text there. Next is a section on skills where you can list all your relevant skills on LinkedIn. Apart from showcasing your expertise to people who are viewing your profile, this also helps in adding relevant keywords to your profile to help you in LinkedIn searches. Getting endorsements, where you get people to come and endorse you for your skills, helps build credibility for you as well. So you can request people you worked with, your friends, your colleagues, you can always message them on LinkedIn and request them to endorse you for specific skills that you would want to be endorsed for skills that you want to showcase on your LinkedIn profile. So these are important. Always add your relevant skills and try and get endorsed for them. Another good practice for LinkedIn profiles is to have all your emails connected, right? If I were to ask you guys a question, how many of you are signed in to LinkedIn through your personal email? I'm sure most of you would say yes, that you signed up for LinkedIn using your personal email ID. In which case, the next question that I'd ask you is, do you have your professional email IDs connected to LinkedIn as well? Because that's important. When people are finding for you, there are a lot of tools out there that show up LinkedIn profiles even in emails. When you email people, even from your work email, if your work email is linked to your LinkedIn profile, there are tools that showcase your LinkedIn profile in the email itself. For example, for Gmail, you have a plugin called Rapportive, right? That's Rapportive. It's a plugin that helps you see the LinkedIn profile of whoever has sent you an email, provided they've connected it. So this makes it important to ensure that all your emails are connected to your LinkedIn profile. Right? How do you do this? Those of you who have not done it yet, let me show you how you can do this, how you can have all your email IDs linked to your LinkedIn profile. Don't worry, this does not mean that all your email IDs will get emails and notifications and updates from LinkedIn. Some of you might be worried that this might cause your work emails to get flooded with LinkedIn notifications and updates. So all your updates and notifications will always go to your primary email. The rest will not get them, but you can still connect all of them to it. So how do you do this? Those of you who don't have it, let me show you how you can do this practically, and you guys can do it right away as well. So once you guys are logged into LinkedIn, on the top right corner you have this little picture of yourself. Click on that, click on Manage Privacy and Settings, and here you have a section that says email addresses. Add or remove email addresses on your account. You can click on Change, and then you can click on Add Email Address, add all your email addresses to the account. You'll have to verify the email once, and once you do that, all your email IDs get linked to your LinkedIn profile. Right? So as I said, that's a good practice. Those of you who don't have this yet, those of you who are signed into LinkedIn with your personal email IDs and want to connect your work email IDs as well, please pause the video now and you can go and do it right away. So that way you don't forget. Sometimes you might forget to do it later. So the best way to do it is to do it right now. Pause the video, go to your LinkedIn profile, connect all your other email IDs that are not connected that you want to connect, and then come back to the video. Okay, so go ahead guys, pause it and come back after you guys are done. Great guys, so hope all of you have connected your work emails to your LinkedIn profiles as well. So next, let's look at a summary of all the LinkedIn profile best practices that we've just seen. We've seen a whole bunch of them. Let's look at a summary of all. Let's summarize. The first thing we saw, have a good headshot for your profile picture. Next, have all your major sections updated. Include relevant keywords wherever possible in the text and descriptions. Use them strategically to ensure that you are found when people are looking for you. Avoid writing large paragraphs, right? People generally avoid reading large paragraphs. It becomes too much of text to read. So break down your text into crisp bulleted points to convey the information you want. Makes it look neater and also less monotonous to read. So avoid large paragraphs. Stick to crisp bulleted points wherever possible. Next, have a custom URL for your profile. Hope all of you have done this by now. Add media wherever possible, images, videos, slide shares to make your profile stand out from the crowd. And update your skills section, get endorsements, get recommendations for different positions where you worked, request your colleagues who you worked with in the past, your seniors, to recommend you for that role, for the kind of work you did there. So this summarizes the best practice for your LinkedIn profile, apart from what we've already discussed as well. So those of you who don't have all of these on your LinkedIn profile yet, again, pause the video now, go and ensure that you got all these points completed, and then come back. Once you have all these in place, you will have a LinkedIn profile that is much better than most LinkedIn profiles out there already. Once you guys are done with this, then you can come back and we'll continue to the next section, which is publishing posts on LinkedIn. LinkedIn offers you 3 different ways to interact with your network. You can share an update, upload a photo, or write an article. Writing an article is what we are talking about here when we say publishing a post to LinkedIn. So when you click on write an article, it will open a new screen where you can start writing your article on LinkedIn. Let's take a look at this on the live LinkedIn platform. So when you log into LinkedIn, you can click on write an article, and that will take you to the screen where you can start penning down your article. Publishing posts is important for multiple reasons. One is, whenever you publish a post on LinkedIn, your network gets notified. For example, a lot of you would have seen updates like this in your notifications when somebody in your connections on LinkedIn has published a new post. So when you publish a new post as well, all your connections get notified. Secondly, on your LinkedIn profile, one of the first sections that someone viewing your profile gets to see is posts that you published. So all your posts that are published by you on LinkedIn show up here, and somebody who's viewing your profile can view all of them. This showcases your expertise in a particular domain. In this case, for example, someone viewing the profile might get the feeling that this person is an expert in the digital marketing and social media space. So it builds authority for you, drives thought leadership as well. Apart from this, you can also use LinkedIn as a platform to distribute your company's blog content. For example, if you have a company blog, you can always republish your blog here on LinkedIn. For example, this blog has been republished from my company blog. It was originally posted there, and I republished it here to enhance reach more people. Whenever you do this, it's a good practice at the end of the blog to always credit the source. So at the end of the blog, whenever you republish a blog from your company website, at the end you would say this post was first published on your company blog, and you would link back to it. There are multiple reasons why you would do this. One is to credit the original source and let Google know, for example, that this is not duplicate content. It is content that has just been republished for distribution purposes. Also, you might get someone who's really interested in your blog to go back to your blog, might drive a little bit of traffic to your blog. You won't get too much, but a little bit, yes. Also builds awareness and visibility for your blog. So let's summarize the key benefits of publishing posts on LinkedIn. We've just discussed a few of these. Let's summarize them. So as I just showed you, when you publish a lot of posts in a particular domain, in a particular industry, it builds credibility for you. It showcases you as an expert in the space, builds authority for you, builds trust with the people you want to reach out to. Next is, it showcases your expertise in a particular industry. All your connections get notified when you publish a post. It builds recall for you, right? Otherwise they might tend to miss out on your updates, but when you publish a post they get notified, so it is building recall in the minds of your connections on LinkedIn. And then, as I showed you, it can be used as a distribution channel to promote your blog content. You could always republish your blog content, but always link back to your blog. So these are the benefits of publishing posts on LinkedIn. Very effective as a platform. So those of you who have not started publishing posts yet, it's a good time to do that now. One more key reason that we saw why the LinkedIn audience is there on LinkedIn is to stay informed and updated with what's happening around them, especially in their industry. LinkedIn also helps you stay informed and updated with the happenings in your industry through multiple ways. As most of you already know, LinkedIn owns SlideShare, where there is a whole lot of content on multiple topics, which helps you learn new industry trends and insights, and also pick up new skills. As marketers, you can also use SlideShare to upload new presentations that you have created and showcase your expertise in a particular space. LinkedIn groups are another great way to engage with other professionals in the industry, share knowledge, share experiences. We'll talk about leveraging LinkedIn groups in a short while from now. LinkedIn Pulse is a platform that LinkedIn owns, where all the content that is published on LinkedIn is available. In fact, the content that you publish using the publish post feature is also available on LinkedIn Pulse. So apart from creating your own content, you can also browse through Pulse to look for interesting content in your industry to stay updated. LinkedIn also lets you follow influencers that it has shortlisted in every industry to get the latest insights and trends for that particular industry. LinkedIn also allows you to subscribe to content and updates from influencers in order to help you stay up to date with the trends and insights from that particular industry. So talking about groups, like we just discussed, joining relevant industry groups and taking part in them can help us build our personal brand and also connect with relevant professionals in the industry. In order to get the most out of LinkedIn groups, there are certain best practices that you could follow. The first one is focus on adding value to these groups first. Don't use these groups as a place to only promote yourself and your content. Always add value, share your own knowledge, share experiences, help answer questions that people might have, showcase your expertise, and then once you do that, you can then also use these groups to share interesting content, useful content that you have created which you would like to promote to the audience. But always add value first to these groups. That's the best way to get the most out of groups, not just on LinkedIn, but any other social network for that matter. Always add value to the audience first and avoid direct self-promotion all the time. But as I said, focus on meaningful interactions, focus on driving conversations. It's a social network at the end of the day. So be social, interact with other human beings, drive meaningful conversations. Next is be of service to the community. Like I said, serve the community first, and over time the value you get from being of service to the community would help you not only build your personal brand, but also get a lot of referrals from the platform. Connect with the relevant people on these groups, build relationships, build your own digital tribe, so to say. These relationships is what you'll be able to leverage later in order to drive not just business deals, but also leverage them to grow in your career. And bottom line, as I've always already said, avoid outright promotion in these groups. These groups are, as we've just seen, more for being of service to the community, showcasing your expertise, building trust with a relevant audience, connecting to them, building relationships, driving conversation. Outright promotion is not what you should do on these groups. These groups are not meant to just come and share each and every article or each and every content piece that you've created just to promote it to an audience. Promotion is fine, but only after you add value, drive conversation, have meaningful interactions, and build relationships first. Right? So avoid using these groups purely as a means of promotion. That's more like spamming these groups. That's not the best way to get the most out of them. So avoid doing that. Next, as we already saw, use LinkedIn Pulse to discover content that is relevant to you and your industry. You can also use it, as we already saw, to publish content that you have created and showcase your own expertise and drive thought leadership for yourself. Also follow relevant influencers in your industry and get insights from them. LinkedIn shortlists influencers in different domains based on their expertise and authority that they currently already enjoy, and you could subscribe to them, and whenever they publish an article or an update, you will get a notification. This will help you stay updated with industry trends, learn the latest tactics and strategies as well, and overall become better at what you do. Great, so far we've looked at how we can use LinkedIn to build a strong personal brand. We've looked at how we can build a powerful LinkedIn profile to start with, how we can publish posts to drive thought leadership in the industry, ways to leverage groups to build relationships with relevant professionals, and also ways to stay updated with industry happenings, upskill ourselves, and grow in our respective careers and businesses. So with that, let's move on to the next aspect of LinkedIn marketing, which is marketing as a brand on LinkedIn. Right? How do we as brands reach out to our target audiences for multiple business objectives? It could be for building brand awareness and visibility, could also be for driving leads and inquiries for our business, could be for building thought leadership. So for each individual objective, how do we use LinkedIn as an effective and efficient marketing tool? So let's get started first with building a company page on LinkedIn. How do we create a page for our companies on LinkedIn? Some of you might already have a company page. For those of you who don't, you would have to create one. Creating a company page is very simple. So all you need to do is Google for create LinkedIn company page, and this would bring you to a link where you can fill in the basic details and get your company page up and running. One thing that you guys should know, which is important about creating a LinkedIn company page, is that you cannot create a LinkedIn page with a Gmail or any other personal email ID. You will need an email ID on the company domain, right? Like it says here, your email address at company. So you will need an email ID on your company domain. For example, if you work at company ABC, you will need an email which says your name at abc.com, or even a generic email ID which says support at abc.com or marketing at abc.com. Right? Without this, you will not be able to create a LinkedIn company page. So ensure that before you attempt creating one, you have an email ID which works, because this email will have to be verified. So ensure you have an email ID on your company domain which is functional before you go ahead and create a LinkedIn company page. Right, so let's look at what a company page on LinkedIn looks like. This is an example of the Tata Docomo page. Right, let's look at this page live and see what are the different components of a company page on LinkedIn. So this is the Tata Docomo company page on LinkedIn. So just like all other social platforms where you have a page for your business, you have a display image here, which is the company logo again. You can see the company name, the number of followers, your follow button, which once you click on this, you will start seeing updates from this company in your feed. Then you have the cover image on LinkedIn and a description of the company, the website, company size, basic details about the company are here. Below that, once you scroll, you will see the recent updates from the company. You can also engage with them, just like Facebook. You can like, comment or share. You can also see the engagement that the update has got, how many likes, what were the comments. All this is available here. As you scroll, you can see all the updates that the company has posted, right? So at this point, let's understand what kind of updates could a company possibly post to its LinkedIn page. So let's take a look at some examples of company page updates that you could do. These are different types of updates. So the first one that you could test and see if it resonates with your audience. Each of these could be tested. There would be different types of content, different types of updates you could use. These are just to give you an example of different updates that are possible. So you could share stats, data from your industry, right? Any other information that your audience on LinkedIn would find relevant, right? Anything that educates them, gives them interesting industry insights, something that would make them look smarter once they have that data. Next is you could always showcase your company culture, right? This helps particularly when you're on a hiring spree, when you want to attract talent. Showcasing updates from your company. What does your team do? What is work culture the company like? Helps you attract the best talent from the industry. It makes people feel that they would love to work at your company. You could also share your own blog articles on your LinkedIn page. For example, an article that is published on the company blog, and also probably something that you've republished using the published posts option that you have, that we discussed some time back. You could also share that blog article on your LinkedIn company page, right? This demonstrates thought leadership. Also, since these articles are relevant to your audience, it would help showcase your expertise to them. Next is inspirational quotes. These work on LinkedIn as well, since it's a professional platform and professionals do need that occasional inspiration or motivation. These as a content update type do work as well. You could also showcase case studies or work done by your company that your target audience would find useful. Client testimonials and success stories are another update that you could try out. This is social proof. It shows potential prospects or potential customers for your business that you already delighted customers in the past, builds trust and credibility for you. So these are examples of updates that you can do on your company page. At this point, I want you guys to think a bit, and I'm going to ask you if you will post the same updates to LinkedIn that you would post to your Facebook page. Let's say you have a presence for your business both on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So would you republish whatever you post to Facebook to LinkedIn as it is, or would you not? So think about it. You can pause the video for a minute. Think through this. What is your answer? Is it yes? Is it no? If yes, why is it yes? And if no, why is it no? Or do you think there's an answer where you think it's neither yes nor no and you're not sure, or there could be different cases and you would have to decide on a case by case basis? So think through this, pause the video and then come back and we'll discuss this. Great guys, so hope you've all thought through the answer to this question. So let's look at this. Let's look at what we have here. So what are the differences between continued posts to Facebook and LinkedIn? Well, ideally you would not post the same content from one channel to the other, not from Facebook to LinkedIn or the other way around. This is because, let's go back to the fundamentals of posting to a social media platform. Right? If you remember right through all the sessions, we've always said that whenever you post content to a social media channel or platform, always first understand why the audience that is there on that platform is there, and then through your content feed that why, right? Through your content, give them what they are on that platform for, right? So if you remember from the first lesson, why is the audience that is there on Facebook there? So they are there primarily on Facebook to connect with their friends and family, right? To share their own updates, to have fun, to get entertained, be informed, read interesting articles, watch viral videos, right? That was the primary reason why they're there on Facebook. And your content on Facebook will help add value to them based on the reasons why they are on the platform. LinkedIn, on the other hand, as we've seen today, is a purely professional platform. The reason the audience that is there on LinkedIn is there is because they want to connect with professionals, build their network, they want to advance in their careers, stay up to date with the latest insights and trends in their industry. And so keeping this in mind, the content on LinkedIn and Facebook is going to be quite different. So here are some of the key differences that you would see in the nature of the content on two platforms. On LinkedIn, as you can see, since it's a professional network, the content tends to be more formal. On Facebook, your content would be more informal, since again it's a more personal, more informal network where people are more friendly. LinkedIn, more professional. So your content again is going to be informative, inspiring, educative, primarily knowledge sharing, thought leadership based content. Again, content that would help people with new tactics that they could use, learn new things that are happening in the industry, probably anything that could make them appear smarter at work, could be anything that makes them more productive, makes them more efficient, that kind of content. Facebook content has to be more generic, more fun, more entertaining, something that people can relate to, right? So let's take an example. Again, this is something you should keep in mind when you create your content plan strategy for the different platforms that you're active on. But let's go back to the same Tata Docomo LinkedIn page and let's compare the content they post on LinkedIn versus the content that they post on Facebook, right? To understand the difference in the nature of the content better, let's take the same page that we just saw as an example. So coming back to the Tata Docomo LinkedIn page, you can see the content here, much more formal and professional, right? Nothing very, it's not something that would do really well on Facebook. It's not something that's fun and entertaining. Most of their content is informative, educative. Some of it is even product related, USPs of their products. Let's look at their Facebook page. Let's see what their Facebook page looks like. Right, so let's look at the content we have here. You can see this. The content here is very different, more informal. You can see by the images itself, the colors that have been used, the images that have been used. It's all very informal, colorful, a little cartoony. As you scroll further, you will see a lot of it is again more comic based content, something that's more fun, humorous, entertaining. A lot of this might not really look good on the LinkedIn feed. On the Facebook feed, since the nature of the platform itself is different, it might be fun, but a lot of this content might not really work too well on LinkedIn. So as we saw on LinkedIn, your content updates, content types would be different, more formal, more professional, more informative and educative content. Right, so now we've seen that example, and you've seen how the content on our two platforms is different. Of course, sometimes there might be a case where you might have content that is informative or educative and might work well on both platforms. In that case, you can always go ahead. In that case, the answer to this question would be yes, that in some cases where you think, based on your judgment, that this content would be suitable to both audiences, let's say it is informative content or educative content that your audience would appreciate on both platforms, then you can go ahead. Right? Otherwise, always remember that the nature of your content will otherwise always be very different. Right? So at this point, we have another activity. It's activity time again. Time to put on your thinking hats. So I want all of you've seen lots of examples of content updates that you could possibly try out for your LinkedIn page. Right? You've also seen how the LinkedIn content would tend to be different in nature from content on other more informal social media platforms like Facebook. So I want you to write down 5 categories or types of content that you will post to your LinkedIn company page. Right? How you would approach this is, first think about your audience. What would your audience like to hear from you on LinkedIn? Right? Would they want to see informative content? Would they want to see USPs of your products? What would your audience really like to see on LinkedIn that would add value to them? Right? How can you add value to your audience on LinkedIn through your content? Right? With that approach, put down different categories of content that you would post. Also, after you put down your categories, or as you're putting down each one of them, as we've seen throughout the social media marketing module, think like your audience, your target audience, and ask yourself if you would then see this content update on your LinkedIn feed. Would you really find it valuable? Would you really find it to be something that you would engage with? Would be something that you might want to share again with your network? Would be something that you would learn something from? Would be something that probably make you smarter at work? Would be something that would make you more productive? Would be something that make you more efficient? Ask yourself all these questions. If your answer is yes, then you probably know that you have the right content update for your page, the right kind of updates that will help you engage with your audience, reach out to them, build awareness and visibility, build trust, drive thought leadership. Right? So with that approach, now put down your 5 categories and then come back. So go ahead guys, pause the video, finish this activity, and then come back and restart it. Great guys, so hope you've put down 5 content categories that you will post to your LinkedIn page. We'll now move on to the next topic, which is LinkedIn page analytics. We'll take a live demo and see what are the kind of insights and data that LinkedIn gives us to assess the effectiveness of our LinkedIn marketing. So let's go to a LinkedIn page and take a look at this. Right, so you can see the Digital Vidya LinkedIn page on my screen. Unlike the Tata Docomo page that we saw a short while ago, this is a page that we manage, and that's why you have an edit button here where you can edit different aspects of the page. You have 2 additional menus here that you would not have seen on the Tata Docomo page, which you didn't manage: the analytics and notification tabs. You also have a provision to share an update with all the followers of your page, and for all the posts that you posted, you get additional data in terms of the number of impressions, clicks, interactions, and the engagement rate for each of these posts. Right, so let's go into analytics and see what is the kind of data LinkedIn gives us. This data will help you analyze if your LinkedIn marketing efforts are getting you results that you would like to achieve. It will also help you in making your reports when you need to report to a client or to a senior person on your team. So the first thing you have here is a list of all the posts that you made to LinkedIn with the data for each. You can look at the impressions that the post got. You can look at the post, the impressions it got, the clicks it got, and the interactions, as well as the engagement rate. So what you can do with this data is similar to what we've seen in the first lesson on Facebook marketing, where in Facebook Insights under the post section, we went to the posts and analyzed the post there to see which post performed well and why did the post that performed well do so. This will help you find out what's working, what's resonating with your audience. Once you find that out, you can replicate your success. It will also tell you what's not working with your audience, and you can stop doing more of what's not working. For example, in this case, you can look at the engagement rates. For example, this particular post has the highest engagement rate as compared to the rest. So you would actually look at the post and you will try and understand why did this post get such a high engagement rate as compared to the page's average engagement rate. What caused it to do well? You'd probably look at maybe it is informative, it is educative to the audience. So you'll brainstorm and analyze the reasons why this post did well, and once you figure that out, you will do more content on similar lines. Right, so this will help you in streamlining and making your LinkedIn page content strategy more effective. Next, below that, you can look at the reach of your page and the engagement over the last 15 days, 1 month, or even the last 6 months. You can see how the reach and engagement has fared. Are you on track? Are you achieving the objectives you set out to achieve through LinkedIn marketing? You can also look at your followers, how many you acquired recently, what are the follower demographics, what is their seniority, which industries are they from generally. So you can see here most of them are from IT and marketing. You can look at their company size, what is the size of the companies these people work in. Then you can look at your follower trend over the last, again, 1 month up to the last 1 year, and see how your follower count has grown. Has it grown as per the objective you had? Let's say, suppose your objective was to get 1,000 followers in 1 year and you got 900. You know you're probably on track, you're almost there. You can also see how you compare with similar companies in the space, and visitors to your page, how many page views do you get on the LinkedIn page on a daily basis, unique visitors as well, and an idea of the visitor demographic. What is the demographic breakdown of people who are visiting the LinkedIn page? Right, so though this is not as comprehensive as Facebook Insights, where you have a lot of data, a lot of metrics that you can measure to test the effectiveness of your Facebook marketing, this definitely still gives you an idea to see how your content is performing and if you're achieving your reach and engagement goals that you've set for your LinkedIn marketing. Right, so now that we've seen the data that LinkedIn Analytics can give us, let's move on to the next topic, which is LinkedIn Advanced Search. Right, the advanced search functionality on LinkedIn. I'm not sure how many of you have used this in the past, but it is very useful to find the right kind of people you want to reach out to on LinkedIn for multiple reasons. You want to reach out to, let's say, people on LinkedIn for advancing in your career. You want to reach out to the right person in a particular company. You can do that. You can, let's say you want to generate leads for your B2B business. You can zero in on exactly the right kind of people you want to connect to and reach out to. So LinkedIn Advanced Search helps you do this. Let's take a look at what are the features that LinkedIn Advanced Search provides us. I will also show you on the live tool now how do you get to this page, how do you access LinkedIn Advanced Search. So let's look at this on the live LinkedIn platform itself. So when you're logged into LinkedIn, you have the search bar, and next to the search bar you have this link which says Advanced. Once you click on it, it will take you to the Advanced Search page. So let me take you through what are the features you have here. You can search for people with relevant keywords. Let's say you want to look for specific roles. You could use them in the keywords and search for them. You can search for people by their first name, last name, company they work with, school they went to. You can narrow down to a specific geography. If you want to find people only in a certain area, you can do that. You can filter by relationship, which is first, second, and third degree connections. Those of you who are relatively new to LinkedIn and not too familiar with what these are, let me just clarify this and explain this for you. A first degree connection is basically, to draw an analogy with Facebook, it's your friend on LinkedIn. Someone who you're connected to on LinkedIn is called your first degree connection. So if you are connected to me, I am a first degree connection. Second degree connection is a friend of friend. Right? So if you are connected to a person A and that person is connected to me, then you are my second degree connection because we are friends of friends and we have one person in between us. Similarly, a third degree connection is a friend of friend of friend. So you are connected to somebody who is connected to another person who is connected to me. So in that case, we are third degree connections. Another thing that you should know about first, second and third degree connections is that you can only message people on LinkedIn who are your first degree connections. You can't send a message to someone who is not a first degree connection. So if you want to reach out to somebody and if you want to message them on LinkedIn, you should first be connected to them, right? Another thing with the LinkedIn platform as it is that sometimes you will not be able to view full profiles of third degree connections. When you view a profile on LinkedIn, if it's a third degree connection, you will see the profile only in certain sections. You will not see the whole profile. So that's another thing you should know when it comes to first, second and third degree connections. Apart from the relationship, you can also filter by location. The current company that a person is working with, you can filter by industry, past company, school they went to, language and interests, non-profit interests if they have any. So these are the filters that are available to you when you use LinkedIn. There are more filters on the right here, which you can see it says upgrade to access these filters, and these have this orange color icon next to them. These are features that are available only to paid LinkedIn users, right? Users of what LinkedIn calls LinkedIn Premium. I'm sure a lot of you would have heard of LinkedIn Premium. In fact, those of you who have LinkedIn profiles, are kind of active on LinkedIn, you would have at some point definitely got an email from LinkedIn saying, take a 30-day free trial of LinkedIn Premium. I'm sure a lot of you would have got this email. So when you sign up for LinkedIn Premium, you get access to all these advanced search functionalities that you would not have access to otherwise. These are quite powerful, help you narrow down to exactly the right kind of people you want to reach on LinkedIn, right? Very critical, especially for lead generation. If you're into B2B lead generation and you want to reach out to specific decision makers in a particular company of a particular size, who is at a certain senior level, who's been in the company for the last few years, all these filters will help you zero in on the right person whom you should contact to get your business deal closed, right? So you can target people by groups that they are part of, how many years experience they have altogether, their job function, seniority, their interests, how big is the company they are working in, when did they join the company. So someone who's new to the company might not generally be a key decision maker at that point, might not be able to close a deal immediately after joining. I'm not saying they will not, but chances are probably kind of lower than when you find somebody who's been in the company for a really long time at a senior level with a lot of experience. So all these features get unlocked when you sign up for LinkedIn Premium. At this point, let's dive into LinkedIn Premium and understand a little more about it, how it works, what are the kind of options and plans you have, where can you use it, and how can you apply it for business as well. So let's take a look at the different plans that LinkedIn Premium offers you. So LinkedIn Premium offers you 4 different objective based plans. So depending on what your objective of using the platform is, you can choose any one of these 4. On the left here, you have land your dream job. So if you're looking for career advancement, if you're looking to move to a better role, better company, then this is a plan that you might want to look at, where you can stand out, get in touch with hiring managers, compare yourself with other applicants, and also learn some new skills for advancement. Next is grow and nurture your network. If you want to build a strong professional network where you want to contact the right people, grow your business, and build a strong professional brand, then this is the plan you would go for. Next is sales opportunities. If you want to use LinkedIn as a platform to find targeted leads, to reach out to them, build relationships with prospects, and close deals, then this is your ideal plan. This is important for lead generation, critical, especially if you're into B2B lead generation. I'll come back to this in a minute from now. And the next plan you have is for talent acquisition. If you're into recruitment and you're looking for the best talent, this plan helps you find the best candidates much quicker and also build relationships with prospective hires using LinkedIn. So let's look at the third one in detail, since this is important from a lead generation perspective when it comes to LinkedIn marketing. Let's look at the kind of features that the third plan would offer you. So these are the features of the plan there. So the first one is you can send up to 15 in-mail messages. So at this point, let's understand what in-mail is, right? In-mail is just a term for messages on LinkedIn. So like I was telling you, if you want to message someone, they have to be your first degree connection, and that message on LinkedIn is called an in-mail. If you want to message someone who's not connected to you, you have to either first connect to them, and after they accept your request, message them. Or you can use LinkedIn Premium, where you can send messages to people even if you are not connected to them, right? That's the key thing here. You can start meaningful conversations with prospects even if you are not connected, right? In-mail can be quite effective as compared to, let's say, conventional email. If you have a prospect, you can reach out to them through 2 ways. You can either email them or you can send them a LinkedIn in-mail. Now think about it. Which do you think will be more effective? Think about how many emails you get on a daily basis versus how many LinkedIn messages you get, right? Most of us would agree that we get a lot more emails on a daily basis as compared to LinkedIn messages, right? Emails, depending on who we are, where we work, and our seniority level, we could get anywhere between 20, 30, 50, 100 odd emails a day when it comes to that. I'm talking about work emails. LinkedIn messages, you probably get maybe one a day, once in a few days, twice a week, depending on, it'll vary from person to person. Since in-mail is much more scarce, it has a higher chance of it being opened by your prospect, right? This, unlike email where it might get lost in that whole long list of emails, in-mail messages generally tend to catch attention and get opened as well. Once it is opened, again, in-mail offers the advantage of having your LinkedIn profile there. So if your prospect wants to click on the LinkedIn profile and view you, in one click he would know who you are, where you work. Is this a credible message? Should the person reply? Right? All this can be done by a quick look at your LinkedIn profile. In an email, there's only so much you can say about yourself. You can probably share 2 lines, 3 lines, 5 lines. You can't paste your whole LinkedIn profile in an email and introduce yourself. So this ability to build instant credibility through the LinkedIn profile, since the sender's profile is so obvious out there, makes LinkedIn InMail a very effective tool to reach out to prospects on LinkedIn. So apart from this feature, it also gives you insights on your leads. What are they doing? Right? You can follow your prospects, stay up to date with their activities, and you could also join in and get in touch with them when you think the time is right. You also get access to all the advanced search functionalities that I just showed you, the ones particularly with the orange icon next to it. You can see all the people who viewed your profile in the last 90 days. Normally, if you don't have a premium account, you can see only the latest 5 or 6. The rest are hidden. Here it's not hidden. You can also view profiles of third-degree connections even if you're not connected. And you can also find the right people on LinkedIn who you think you should connect to, and you could save them to connect to them probably later. So these are the features of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So those of you who are in B2B and watching this, you might want to definitely try this out. It costs about nearly 50,000 Indian rupees a year. In B2B businesses, if you guys look at the ticket size of each deal, it would start somewhere in a few lakhs, can even go up to a few crores. Given the deal sizes, this 50,000 might not really make a big dent. It would just, even if one deal closes, your ROI would be justified. So it's definitely worth a try for all of you who are into B2B and looking to use LinkedIn as an effective lead generation platform. Okay, so now that we've understood how LinkedIn Advanced Search works and how we can use it to zero in on the right people, not just for lead generation, but also could be for career advancement, could also be for general professional networking, or for any information you're looking out for from a certain person. We've also looked at Sales Navigator, what are the features it provides and how it can be used very effectively for B2B lead generation in particular. So let's move on to the next topic, which is advertising on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn ads. How do we use LinkedIn ads to reach out to our target audience? So let's first look at the different types of LinkedIn ad products that are available out there. LinkedIn has 2 broad platforms for advertising. One is the self-service ad platform, which is what advertisers can use to run their own ads, similar to the platforms we saw on Facebook and Twitter, where you can go create your own campaign, set your targeting, run your own ads. In this segment, we have 2 different LinkedIn ad products. One is text ads, right, and the other is sponsored updates. Sponsored updates are similar to boosting a post on Facebook. Let's say you have a post on LinkedIn and you want to promote it to reach more people. Those are called sponsored updates. Next is LinkedIn Ad Partner Solutions. These are not available through the self-serve ad tool as of now. Under these, you have premium display ads, basically running display ads on LinkedIn. You have something called sponsored InMail, which I will talk about in a little more detail in a short while from now. And you have dynamic LinkedIn ads. Dynamic ads help you precisely target relevant audiences with a customized creative to increase effectiveness of the ad. So as I said, the first two are available on the self-serve ad platform, which is what we're going to look at. Now we're going to do a demo of the live self-serve ad platform. The rest of these, if you want to reach out, if you want to do these, you have to reach out to a LinkedIn ad partner solution. Just Google for LinkedIn ad partner India or in your country and you would find them. You could then reach out to them and try out these options. So these are the ad types we just talked about. What you see here on top, it says here that it is an ad. Then you have this one which says sponsored. This is like a boosted post, it's sponsored content. And then this is a display ad, right? So these are the three key ad placements on LinkedIn and the ad types as well. So let's go to the live LinkedIn tool and look at these placements again, ads as well, and then we'll go into a live demo of creating a LinkedIn ad campaign. So I'm logged into LinkedIn and you can see the screen I see when I log in. On top here I have an ad. This is a text ad which when I click will take me to the advertisers page. Then on the right here I have this, which is a dynamic ad which has been generated keeping in mind that I am a relevant audience for this ad. It's free resources for content marketers, highly relevant for me. So this is an example of a dynamic ad. And as I scroll down, this you see sponsored here. This is an example of a sponsored update. So this is basically a post that has been promoted by this brand and I can see it in my feed here. So these are the types of LinkedIn ads you would normally encounter, and we've also gone through them in the presentation. So let's move on to the ad platform and let's look at how can we create a LinkedIn ad campaign. So to access LinkedIn ads, you would hover on business services and click on advertise. When you do that, you can then click on manage ads. It will ask you to re-verify your email ID and password, and then once you do that, it will take you to your ad account page. Those of you who don't have an ad account and you're going through this process for the first time, it might ask you to create one. Now we have to choose the objective based on our goals. This is again very similar to the ad platforms we've already seen so far in the earlier lessons, Facebook and Twitter. In fact, like I've told you, if you can understand how Facebook ads work and how they are structured, all the other social advertising platforms have been structured in similar fashion. So just like a Facebook ad campaign, for example, at the campaign level you would choose your objective. At the ad set level you would choose your targeting, budget, bidding and schedule, and at the ad level you would choose your copy and creative. So on LinkedIn, unlike Facebook, right now you have only two options, which is to sponsor your content, which is basically like promoting a post, or to run text ads to drive targeted leads. So let's say for now, let's assume we choose sponsored content and say select. It will take us to the next step where you can enter the campaign name. Let's just call it test for now, and then you say next. This will then ask you to pick a sponsored update from the page that you want to promote. So let's say we want to promote the latest update. I will click on it and I will say sponsor selected, promote this content. Once I say sponsor selected, it will take me to the next step, which is the ad set level, where I can choose my targeting, just like Facebook and Twitter ads as well. On the right, as you keep narrowing down your target audience, you will be able to see this number narrow down as well. Right now it shows the 400 million registered users on LinkedIn. So let's say I want to target people in Mumbai. So So once I do that, automatically the number reduces to 3.24 million. Then I have all these targeting criteria to zero in on my ideal audience. LinkedIn has by far the best professional data as compared to any other social network at the moment, simply because if you look at Facebook, though you can target people based on their job titles on Facebook also, people generally do not update their jobs on Facebook as frequently and as accurately as they do it on LinkedIn. Right? Since LinkedIn is a professional platform, a lot of professional data about people is available with LinkedIn, and this is then made available to advertisers to reach out to the right people and the right audiences. So you can target people by company name, people in specific companies, specific industries, specific sizes of companies, their job title, their functions, seniority, which schools and colleges did they go to, what did they study, what degrees do they have, what educational qualifications do they possess, what are their skills, what groups are they members of, and then you have the general demographics of age, gender, and how experienced are they. Right? Lots of granular targeting options based on professional data. Again, this is not just relevant to B2B businesses. Some of you might think that it's relevant only to B2B business. It's not. You could use it for B2C as well, provided your audience is active on the platform. Right? You could use it, let's say you want to target people who can buy a luxury car. Let's say you run a car showroom, a luxury car showroom, a BMW showroom in Mumbai, and you want to reach people who can afford it. You might want to reach out to the more senior job titles who might be able to afford a car like that. So this helps you in targeting not just for B2B but B2C business as well. Once you set your targeting, then you can click next. This will then ask you to set your budget and schedule. So schedule is simple. You can either start immediately or you can schedule it to start on Monday, for example. So that's the scheduling. The bid and budget. So you can choose your budget, how much do you want to spend on a daily basis. Let's say you want to spend 1500 rupees on a daily basis. You can do that. You can choose to bid either for clicks or for impressions. So if you bid for clicks, the estimated bid that you see here is 200 rupees per click. That's a fair bit. It could get very, very expensive to advertise on LinkedIn if you're going to end up spending 200 rupees for every click. An interesting hack that works here, especially when you're running a sponsored updates campaign, is instead of choosing CPC, choose CPM bidding, and you can see here now your cost of 1000 impressions is nearly, let's say, 1300 rupees is the bid. Now if I say that your sponsored content is very engaging, is very relevant, and you're getting click-throughs of, let's say, on an average 5%. If you're getting click-throughs of 5%, then for 1000 impressions, you guys can do this. If you want to pause the video and do the math, you can do that. Now you know the definition of click-through rate. It's clicks expressed as a percentage of impressions. So if I say click-through rate is 5%, and for 1000 impressions, I would then get 50 clicks. For 50 clicks, I'm going to spend 1300 rupees, which means each click would only cost me 26 rupees now, right? Had I chosen CPC, I would end up paying 200 rupees a click. Now each click would cost me on average 26 rupees. Even if I assume that my post is not as engaging and I get only a 1% click-through rate, my cost per click in that case would be 130 rupees, which is still cheaper than my 200 rupees cost here. Right, so this is an interesting hack. To keep this in mind when you want to lower your cost per click, or if you think that this is way too expensive for me to run LinkedIn ads at all. If it scares you, then you could try this and bring down your cost per click on LinkedIn. Of course, I don't recommend trying this for text ad campaigns. These work better for sponsored update campaigns and not so much for text ad campaigns. So once you're done with this, you can click on next, and once you click on next, your campaign is ready to launch. If you've not entered your payment details yet, it will ask you to enter it at this point, and then your LinkedIn ad campaign goes live. Right? So that's about LinkedIn ads. We've looked at the ad creation process, which we've seen is very similar to Facebook ads. We've looked at the different targeting options that LinkedIn allows you. How do you reach people by any kind of professional targeting you want? And we saw how we can reduce cost of LinkedIn advertising for sponsored updates by going for CPM instead of CPC bidding. And so with that, let's go on to the other ad type that I said I will talk to you about in more detail shortly, which is LinkedIn sponsored InMail. As I said, this is only currently available through LinkedIn ad partners, and these InMails are sent to your inbox. It's like a LinkedIn message, and you can see here it will say sponsored and it's an InMail. So this is a sponsored InMail, example of a sponsored InMail that I have received. Now, what are the advantages of sponsored InMail? What makes it an effective tool? Let's look at the benefits of this particular ad type. So the first one is it helps you reach active members on LinkedIn through tailored messages. When I say active members, that's critical here, because these messages, the sponsored InMails, are only delivered to LinkedIn users when they're active on LinkedIn. Right? So let me give you an example. The InMail I just showed you, I had logged into LinkedIn, there were no messages, and as soon as I logged in, after a few seconds, I see this message. Right? When you're logged into LinkedIn and you see a message coming in, the chance of you opening it is very high, which is why this has 100% deliverability. Unlike email, where if you compare this with email marketing, a lot of your emails don't get delivered, might go into spam, might go into another folder. This one always gets delivered, so deliverability is 100%. Also, since it is delivered when people are active on LinkedIn, the open rates are extremely high. And another point that makes sponsored InMail a very effective tool is that LinkedIn users can only receive one sponsored InMail in 6 weeks, right? And this is from any advertiser. So if I have already received one sponsored InMail today, I cannot receive another one in the next 6 weeks, irrespective of which advertiser it is from. Right? So LinkedIn ensures that you only get one of these in 6 weeks as a user, which is what again makes it a more effective tool, since you can't use it to spam, not like email where you could possibly keep spamming a person. You can't do that here. You can only send one InMail to a particular user in 6 weeks. Right? So this breaks through that email marketing clutter and makes this product a very interesting and important ad product that you could try out for your business and compare its performance with your traditional email campaigns. Right? So that's about LinkedIn ads and sponsored InMail on LinkedIn. So let's move on to the next section, which is on LinkedIn marketing resources. So now that you've gone through all the aspects of LinkedIn marketing, personal branding, brand marketing, there are some resources that LinkedIn has which allows you to stay up to date with what's happening as well as get better at your marketing. So let's look at what these resources are. The first one is the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions website. So all these links are clickable. You can click through it and view each of these resources. Next is the LinkedIn Marketing blog, which keeps getting updated with interesting information about the platform, and case studies. So if you're looking for case studies to understand, to see if it will work for you, will LinkedIn work for me? Has any B2C brand ever done LinkedIn marketing? For example, if you have any of these questions, most of these case studies will help you not only answer those questions, but also see how you can replicate the success in that case study. Alright guys, so with that we are done with today's lesson on LinkedIn marketing. Hope you guys have had a great time learning. Thank you so much.